If you want the action button on your iPhone 15 Pro to behave differently depending on whether or not you have your phone in portrait or landscape mode, or if you press it multiple times in a row, or if you want a sheet of different functions to choose from, I'm going to show you how to do all of that on your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. Now, before we get into everything, if you ended up liking this video, it'd mean a lot to me if you just hit that like button and leave a comment. It really helps me out. And of course, if you want to see more videos from me in the future, you can consider subscribing. That would also be much appreciated. Now, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description below. You can click around to different sections because I want to start off by going over what the action button is really quickly, just in case you just got your iPhone and you really don't know anything about it. So if you're unfamiliar with the action button and all the things you can do with it out of the box, just from Apple's own custom options, I'm going to show you real quick. Just go into settings, go to action button, and out of the box, it is set up to silent mode. So it's your ring silent switch, you press and hold, it goes between ring or silent. If you decide to switch to something else, but you still want to be able to toggle that on and off, you can do that in the control center by just clicking that little bell icon. So the next option is focus. So you can toggle between different focus modes. It's set to do not disturb, but you can choose whichever one you want. Then you have the ability to open up the camera. It's obviously defaulting to photo, but you can choose between selfie, video, portrait, or portrait selfie. Then there's the flashlight, voice memos, magnifier, shortcut, which we'll get into in just a second because it is the driving force between how you get those more advanced features that I talked about at the beginning of this video. Then there's accessibility, which you can choose between a bunch of different options here. There's a category for vision, a category for motor, and one for hearing, and then just a general option down there at the bottom. And then you have no action, which, you guessed it, will make your action button do nothing. So for these next three action button features, you are going to need to download a few things, and you can find them all in the description down below. We'll start with the orientation action mode. This comes from a creator named Dan Vittorini. I don't know if he created this or not, but I found this on his Twitter and it's really, really cool. And so if you download the orientation action mode shortcut and the Actions app, all you have to do is just open it. You don't have to do anything else. Just make sure it launches and then download the orientation action mode. And you should see here that it's getting device orientation from the action mode. It'll do it automatically. It'll update itself. And then just by default, it's set up to landscape right be the camera. For photos, landscape left, it will be video for your camera. And then if it's just in portrait mode, it'll toggle the silent. So you can kind of have the best of both worlds between opening up the camera app and having your ring silent switch still enabled. So you can obviously play around with it and customize that shortcut if you want to make it open up something else. But if you want to just kind of leave it as is, just make sure you head over to the settings app and then choose shortcut, and then you'll choose that orientation mode shortcut here, and then watch what happens. I'm in portrait, it's changing the ring silent. And so now it's back to silent. And then if I turn it in landscape, this way is video. And then if I flip it over this way, it should be photo. And as you can see, it's switched between those functions, which is really, really cool. But again, you can customize it to be whatever you want. Maybe you want it to open a different app depending on the orientation, maybe launch into like game mode or something. You can do that if you want to, but this is just kind of a nice base to get started. The next shortcut I want to show you is MultiButton. It's really, really cool. It's made by Federico Viticci. You're probably familiar with him. He's over at Mac Stories. We've had him on the podcast. But if you open up MultiButton here, or once you download it, again, it's in the description, you can go ahead and see it's just a normal shortcut. You can click on the ellipsis to see kind of how it works. And so basically it's to open up any two shortcuts depending on how often you press the button. So if I have it here set to camera and Instagram, your main first press of the shortcut is going to be whatever you have listed here first. And then if you press it within a few seconds, you'll open up the next option. And so this is what we have here. We'll go ahead and set it. Again, you have to change that action in the settings app. And now we'll go back here. I'll press the button. Well, you have to press and hold, but you'll press the button and now it opens up the camera app. And if I press it again quickly, it opens up Instagram, which is pretty cool. And again, you can set this to be whatever you want. For me, my thinking was, I take a quick photo, like super quick, and then I go ahead and hold it, and I can go ahead and launch into the camera app, take a quick photo, and then press it again and launch into Instagram, in which case I can upload that photo pretty quickly to my stories. And so that was my thinking behind that. I don't know how practical that is. So obviously you can set this to whatever shortcuts you have. The only thing that I want to stress, and I believe it's stressed here when you get it all set up, is that you need to name each thing in the list here to be exactly what it's named in the Shortcuts app. So maybe you have one for opening up YouTube, needs to be spelled exactly the same way. But now, as you can see here, we've updated it, and I can press it and it'll press the wrong button, but yeah, now you can see it opens up YouTube. So you just got to make sure that it's spelled exact or it's not going to work. It's a really cool multi-button feature for your action button, which I highly suggest you check out. And the last thing is, if you want to get a sheet shown of all of your different shortcuts that you might find useful to kind of pop up on command when you press down the action button, and then you can choose from that list. It's pretty easy. Go into shortcuts and make sure you create a folder. If you already have one created, that's great. But if you don't know how to do it, there's one in the top right corner. Name it whatever you want, and then you can add different shortcuts inside of that folder. And then here is, I have a couple of different ones. You have useful short. These are from videos I did a while ago, but I'm just going to use it to show you. So then go back into the settings app. And when you choose your shortcut, you're going to want to do show folder, and then go ahead and choose from the list of the folders that you have. So here's useful shortcuts, and then watch what happens. I press and hold, and it shows me a list of all of the different shortcuts that I put in that folder. Or you can go ahead and open up the Shortcuts app. And the cool thing about the action button is that this works no matter what app you're inside of. So if you're in Spotify, let's say, for example, like I am, right now I have it to the Shortcuts folder. So now I can do that in pretty much any scenario. And you can also run this with your lock screen or your phone locked. And so that's really, really good and handy to have. And honestly, there are so many other things that you can do with the action button that we haven't even scratched the surface, but these are some of the ones that I found useful. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you found a really useful shortcut that you think I should kind of program the action button to, or if there's something that we should maybe make an entire video about. Let me know down in those comments. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.